In the bathroom, a young man's lifeless body lies crumpled in the shower. His throat has been slashed from ear to ear, a gaping wound that nearly decapitated him. Stab wounds cover his chest and back, too many to count. There's even a bullet wound in his head. The tiles are slick with blood and the air is heavy with the metallic scent of violence. This is the gruesome scene that greets Travis Alexander's friends on a quiet summer night. They stand frozen in horror, unable to comprehend the savagery in front of them. Just days ago, Travis was laughing and planning a vacation with friends. Now he is dead, brutally butchered in his own home. And the person responsible for this nightmare? Travis's ex-girlfriend, a beautiful young woman named Jodi Arias. To those who knew Travis and Jodi, the horror of this scene is shocking but not entirely surprising. Travis's friends had been worried about Jodi for a long time. They saw how obsessed she was. One friend even joked that they might find Travis chopped up in her freezer if he wasn't careful. Now their worst nightmare had come true. How did a once passionate love affair twist into such a brutal crime? To find out, we have to rewind to when Travis and Jodi first met, before the jealousy, before the bloodshed. Travis Alexander was magnetic. In his late 20s, he was charismatic, successful, and full of energy. He worked as a motivational speaker and inspired people around him with his optimism and drive. He was the guy who made everyone laugh, the friend who lifted you up. Travis had a generous heart and big dreams, and he was looking for someone special to share them with. That someone seemed to appear when Travis met Jodi Arias at a business convention. Jodi was 26, strikingly beautiful, and chasing big dreams of her own in photography. They crossed paths at the convention, and the attraction was instant. Travis was captivated by Jodi's bright smile and easy charm. Jodi was drawn to Travis's confidence and humor. They talked for hours that first night, oblivious to everyone else around them. By the next morning, Travis was telling friends he might have found the woman he wanted to marry. It didn't take long for their romance to catch fire. Travis lived in Arizona and Jodi in California, but the distance only made them more eager. They spent every free moment on the phone, exchanged countless affectionate messages, and met up in person whenever they could. They took road trips together, snapping photos and making memories, and Jodi proudly posted pictures of them online. From the outside, Travis and Jodi looked like the perfect couple, utterly in love. Soon, however, red flags began to disrupt the blissful picture. Jodi's affection for Travis was morphing into something obsessive. She became extremely jealous and possessive. If Travis even chatted with another woman, Jodi would storm over and cling to him. In one incident, she climbed onto Travis's lap at a friend's gathering and kissed him aggressively, as if marking her territory, refusing to stop even when he protested. On another occasion, friends caught her sneaking around to eavesdrop on a private conversation Travis was having behind closed doors. These behaviors sent chills through Travis's friends. They told him flat out that Jodi's behavior wasn't normal and that he needed to be careful. Travis was torn. He didn't want to believe the worst of someone he loved, but the warning signs were getting too big to ignore. After about 5 months of tumultuous dating, Travis decided he had to end it. The relationship had become a roller coaster of fights and drama, and Jodi's jealousy was out of control. He hoped breaking up would bring peace, but Jodi had other plans. Just weeks after the split, she abruptly packed her bags and moved to Mesa, Arizona, the city where Travis lived. Travis's friends were floored. It felt like Jodi was deliberately inserting herself back into his life, refusing to let him go. In Mesa, Jodi made sure she was never far from Travis. She would pop up at his house at all hours. On at least one occasion, she even crawled through the doggy door to get inside. Travis often found her in his home uninvited. Sometimes he shouted at her to leave. Other times, he yielded and ended up in bed with her again. It was a toxic on and off cycle that he couldn't seem to escape. And when Travis finally started seeing someone new, the harassment only escalated. Late at night, the new girlfriend heard taps on her windows and saw shadows outside. Twice, Travis's tires were slashed. Everyone suspected it was Jodi, who of course denied everything. It was clear she wasn't going to let Travis move on peacefully. Eventually, Jodi seemed to relent. She moved back to California, and Travis felt a huge wave of relief. He truly believed it was over this time. He began rebuilding his life, focusing on work, spending time with friends, and even planning that Cancun vacation with a female friend he was excited about. For the first time in a long while, Travis was happy. But Jodi's obsession was only simmering beneath the surface. She was not done with him yet. Jodi decided that if she couldn't have Travis, no one would. In early June, she set off on a secret drive back to Arizona, determined to see him one last time. She prepared carefully, borrowing gas cans so she wouldn't leave a trail at gas stations, dyeing her blonde hair brown to alter her look, and turning off her phone to avoid being tracked. One night in early June, Jodi showed up on Travis's doorstep. Travis, not anticipating any danger, let her inside. They spent that night together as if nothing was wrong, talking, even becoming intimate again. By the next afternoon, Jodi was snapping photos of Travis as he showered. In those images, he's relaxed and smiling, completely unaware of the evil about to unfold. Suddenly, Jodi's pent-up rage exploded. As Travis stood in the shower, she lunged at him with a knife. Travis let out a scream as the blade plunged in. He fought back and managed to stumble out of the bathroom, wounded and desperate to escape. But Jodi chased him down the hallway, stabbing him again and again in a frenzied attack. Travis collapsed, bleeding profusely. In a final act of brutality, Jodi slashed his throat from ear to ear, nearly decapitating him. To be certain he was dead, she also shot him in the head. In minutes, the vibrant life of Travis Alexander was snuffed out. The home that had once echoed with his laughter was now eerily silent, stained with blood. After killing Travis, Jodi calmly tried to cover her tracks. She dragged his body into the shower and tried to wash away the evidence. She deleted the photos on Travis's camera and ran it through the washing machine. She wiped down surfaces to remove fingerprints. Then, as if nothing unusual had happened, Jodi drove off into the night. The next day, she was in Utah with another man, laughing and acting completely normal. It was chilling. While Travis's body lay dead in his home, Jodi behaved as if everything were perfectly fine. When Travis missed calls and appointments for several days, his friends grew concerned. Nearly a week went by with no word from him. Finally, they went to his house to check in. Using a spare key, they got inside and were immediately hit by the foul smell of death. They followed it to the bathroom and discovered their worst nightmare. Travis's body in the shower, surrounded by blood. They called the police in a panic. Through their tears and shock, they told the police about the person they all suspected, Jodi Arias. Police investigators quickly amassed evidence pointing straight at Jodi. A bloody palm print was found on the wall. Tests later showed it contained a mix of Travis's and Jodi's DNA. Strands of long brown hair, Jodi's hair, were stuck to the blood on the bathroom floor. And from the damaged camera, forensic experts recovered deleted photos of Travis and Jodi together on the day of the murder. One photo even showed what appeared to be Travis bleeding on the floor while someone, presumably Jodi, was with him. The case against Jodi Arias was becoming ironclad. Detectives brought Jodi in for questioning. She came voluntarily, playing the role of the worried ex-girlfriend. At first, Jodi calmly insisted she hadn't seen Travis for weeks and claimed she was nowhere near Arizona at the time of his death. But as investigators started laying out the evidence, the photos, the DNA, the bloody handprint, her story fell apart. Cornered by proof, Jodi suddenly changed her tune and concocted a wild new tale. Now she claimed that two masked intruders had broken into Travis's home, murdered him, and threatened to kill her and her family if she ever told anyone. It was an outrageous story with zero evidence to support it. The detectives didn't believe a word. Jodi Arias was promptly arrested and charged with Travis's murder. Jodi's trial became a national spectacle. Before it started, she showed no fear. She even told a reporter that no jury would ever convict her. But once the evidence was presented in court, her confidence began to crumble. Jodi took the stand and stuck to her story of self-defense, crying as she claimed Travis had been abusive and that she feared for her life when she killed him. The prosecution methodically tore her claims apart. They showcased the careful planning that went into the murder. The borrowed gas cans, the hair dye, the turned off phone, all proof that Jodi's actions were premeditated, not spontaneous. They pointed out that no evidence of Travis abusing Jodi ever surfaced, and they highlighted her countless lies. Under cross-examination, Jodi's facade of innocence cracked. It became clear that she was not the victim she portrayed herself to be, but the calculating aggressor. In the end, the jury saw through Jodi's act. They found her guilty of first-degree murder. Travis's family cried with relief at the verdict. Jodi, once so certain she'd outsmart everyone, was now a convicted murderer. During the sentencing phase, jurors could not unanimously agree on the death penalty for her. As a result, the judge sentenced Jodi Arias to life in prison with no possibility of parole. She would never walk free again. Travis's loved ones took comfort in knowing that Jodi can never hurt anyone else, but nothing will ever bring Travis back. The story of Jodi Arias and Travis Alexander is a chilling, cautionary tale of how love can turn into obsession and how obsession can erupt into violence. What began as a passionate affair descended into a deadly fixation. Jodi's jealousy and desire for control drove her to murder the man she claimed to love. Travis, a kind and charismatic young man, never imagined that the woman he loved would be the one to kill him. In the end, the most dangerous enemy is often the one who claims to love you. Jodi's obsession destroyed them both. Travis lost his life, and now Jodi will spend the rest of hers behind bars for her unforgivable betrayal. If you want more true stories like this, the kind that don't make it into the headlines the way they should, then subscribe.